facing in the last several rounds. It's all on the line now.
They touch gloves. The 12th and final round. You saw Thornton very slowly get off the stool while DeWitt was on his feet and ready to go.
We've watched so many fighters in the last few months in the middle or lower echelon of the top 10 in the middleweight division. We've seen, there's my scoring. Tony Thornton, I've got him ahead by 2 points. It could be closer than that. We saw Darnell Knox and Alex Ramos in a war out west. We've seen LaPaglia and DeWitt. We've seen McSwain and Thornton, McSwain and LaPaglia. All these middleweights jockeying for position in really exciting fights, and we've got yet another one here.
It is the most competitive division by far.
Oh, very much so. And a lot of other middleweights like Tate and Barkley, and who we also had. I neglected Barkley and Columbay. And Michael Lajide and Tate fought for the title. It's a division that is filled with boxers who are very even in ability.
Then you have the spectators, the Haglers, and the Leonards.
And the gentleman you mentioned, Michael Nunn, who so far has risen above these guys and is still undefeated, waiting for his title shot. Good right by Tony Thornton. I mean, I think Thornton ran out of gas 3 rounds ago, and but he's staying in there on will and the conditioning he did have, obviously.
He's fighting a very decent 12th round.
Yes.
And he's taking away the momentum that DeWitt compiled over the previous 3 or 4. And that could be the difference in this fight, at least between a close decision or a draw.
And the crowd chanting Tony, trying to urge him on.
Now DeWitt scoring with both hands.
Good shots on the inside.
Just over a minute remaining. This could be the most telling minute of the entire bout. He hurt him. Blood all over the face of Thornton as he takes another vicious left hand from Doug DeWitt. He's doing his utmost to get that big knockdown or knockout that Dundee urged him to.
Okay, he had Thornton in trouble there. Right now, it's not an overstatement to say this minute is the most important maybe in DeWitt's career. He's got to go for everything.
He is like a thoroughbred coming down the stretch from off the pace, but closing rapidly. Can he reach the line in time?
Looks like that 800 runner Dave Waddle. Remember him? He was always way behind. Or James Robinson had come back, but it wasn't always enough. And in this case, it might not be enough for DeWitt.
Doug impersonating Silky Sullivan of this one, but he gets some vicious blows off. He's hurt him now as he comes in. He's holding on to him, Thornton. And just a second or 2 to go in this bout. There it is. What a big round for both men. They battled right down to the final bell in the 12th round, but some very big late damage scored by DeWitt, and yet he failed to get that knockdown that might have been so important in the outcome of this bout.
Thornton sitting on his stool, exhausted. DeWitt has more left, but there is no 13th round, okay? And as Angelo Dundee said to him, now, I don't know why Joe O'Neill's so insistent on DeWitt sitting down. That doesn't make any sense. Why can't he walk around the ring?
I don't know why not.
You do it after most fights. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that man, Doug DeWitt, came on with a rush, but did he do it quick enough? I don't think so. I have Thornton a 1-point winner in this fight, 115 to 114. But, of course, that's so close, it could go either way.
But at one point, you had him a 5-point winner.
That's right.
That's the kind of gap that DeWitt closed in the late going.
I gave him DeWitt the last 4 rounds.
I would agree with you.
A lot at stake. You mentioned it. DeWitt ranked 6th by the IBF. Thornton ranked 7th. The winner of this fight moves up, and the loser is going to have a problem staying in contention.
Well, I think if it's DeWitt, it'll be more of a problem maybe than Thornton.
That's right. Thornton is yet to be tested against as many big fighters. DeWitt at this point is considered maybe kind of a retread if he loses.
If Thornton should lose, it'll be just his first defeat. He is 17-0 and a draw. And he took some wicked shots in the closing few seconds. He almost went down. I thought he was going here at this stage.
Well, and if that right hand had gotten there, it might have been a problem.
But he had heart, he had stamina, even though he slowed demonstrably over the final third of the fight. The early lead might be enough to give Thornton the win. Let's go to the ring now and get the decision from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. At the end of 12 rounds, the bout is a draw under the rules of the USBA.
and approved by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, we go to a 13th and deciding round.
A USBA rule allows for there to be an extra round in the case of a draw.
Isn't this interesting? You're going into sudden death overtime here. And that's the last thing that Thornton bargained for. He is exhausted. If you're a betting man, you got to go to the window and put $2 on DeWitt right here. Unless Thornton comes up with something very remarkable.
13th and deciding round.
We've had this in our ESPN tournament. They can't find the mouthpiece of Tony Thornton.
So they call time until they find it, and those extra few seconds will certainly help him.
Nobody anticipated this, and that's why Joe O'Neill wanted Doug DeWitt to go over to his corner and sit down. He anticipated the possibility of a 13th round. Well, Tony Thornton coming out strong, but how much does he have left?
I have never seen this before. I'm not sure many of our viewers have.
I have not.
To an extra round.
I've not seen it in the USBA bout. I have seen it in our ESPN tournament where there was the rule. Oh, and you see DeWitt, you talked about it. He is strong here. You know what, though? Tony Thornton, you can still see the desire. He is trying very hard. He just doesn't have as much left.
Well, he wants it. He hasn't got the tools left to get it.
It's a remarkable story tonight.
It really is. Thornton may be wishing the rules were different. He's just as soon settled for the draw at this stage. Because unless he comes up, and he does here with a good combination, very big in this round, it's going to be tough to get past DeWitt at this stage, given the stamina and what's left for both fighters. DeWitt is hitting him everywhere and from every direction with both hands. Battering him as he comes in. A very tired Thornton, exhausted Thornton, simply hanging on as long as he can.
DeWitt also tired, but has more left to throw those counter punches.
Much more.
There's the good right. That hurt Thornton. That's good jab.
Head went down. Here's the left to follow. He's got him in trouble now.
What a comeback by Doug DeWitt.
You talked about the analogy with the racehorses. He's like Silky Sullivan, coming from way back in the pack to this 13th and extra round overtime to decide the USBA middleweight title. That is a rule that is peculiar to the USBA to determine a title in the event of a draw after 12, and that's what we have here with now a minute to go in overtime. Crowd here urging Tony Thornton on. He's from nearby Glasgow, New Jersey. He's showing a tremendous amount of heart. But you really don't have to be a veteran boxing judge to score the last few rounds, and certainly this one.
And I'll tell you, it looks as if Doug DeWitt will cap a tremendous comeback. The Breeders' Crown is next here on ESPN. We'd love to be able to have a chance to talk to Doug DeWitt. We need to get off the air when this ends, though, so we won't have a chance to bring you comments by Doug DeWitt. Maybe we can give them to you next week, but tell you what, if he does win this fight, as it looks like he's going to, it will cap a tremendous comeback by him.
He's been battering the game, Tony Thornton, throughout the round. The extra round comes to an end. Stay with us. To be rendered tonight. First the draw, and then the outcome of this 13th round to be given to us in just a moment or two. We'll have that decision for you just seconds from now. Dundee there with DeWitt. What a comeback he staged in the late going here tonight. Top Rank Boxing tonight has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Spidell. No one attaches more importance to your watch. A 13th round to decide it. DeWitt still pacing around the ring like a young colt by comparison to the exhaustion that you can just tell by looking at Tony Thornton over there having his gloves taken off.
Well, now they're spending some time on these cards. It would be very difficult to imagine that the judges didn't all give that round. There's Michael Buffer getting ready to get the cards. That the judges didn't all give that round to Doug DeWitt. I'd be pretty surprised.
But you're right, it's taking an unusually long time.
Presumably, no matter how the draw came out, even if it was you know, one for one guy, one for another, and one a draw. If all three judges gave DeWitt that last round, you know he's got to be the winner.
All right, we'll find out right now. Let's go to the ring. Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the 13-round totals. Judge Charlie Spina scores the bout 124-124, still a draw. Tommy Kazmarek has it 125-123, and Eugene Grant scores it 124-123 for the winner, who is now the USBA middleweight champion, Doug Cobra DeWitt.